went to the FBI with my mom and dad, and we went in, and I sat down with them, and I told them what happened, and they looked at me and said, "We're really sorry." He said, "In Palm Beach County alone, more men than women get scammed, and $1 million is the least amount of money they'll even talk to you about. But because he was overseas, there's nothing they could do. They would take my name, they would take my information, they would put it in their database, but there's nothing that they could have done. They couldn't get any money back, nothing, unless I could get the guy here." And I'm like, well, that's not going to happen. He's never going to come to Nigeria. I mean, from Nigeria to America. So at that point, I shut down, and I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell my kids. I didn't tell my siblings. I didn't tell friends. I kept it to myself because I just felt so ridiculous that I got duped. That anybody that I got duped, I should have known. It's that shoulda, coulda, woulda. And it wasn't until just a couple of years ago. Actually, I started dating again, and this was in person. And he told me a story about his life and some things that had happened to him on our very first date. And I said, you know what? I'm going to be completely honest with you and tell you what happened to me. And I told him the story, and he didn't run away. And today I'm actually married to him. But he gave me the courage to start to talk about it. And then I got into a speaker training with a women's group down here, and I was doing something about my own company. And I told someone the story about online dating, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, Deb, you have to tell that story." I'm like, I can't. Well, all that weekend they encouraged me to tell my story, just get it out. And at the end of the 3-day training, I ended up telling my story, and the reception I got was phenomenal. People were stunned, but so grateful that I told the story because it allowed them to tell me that several of them had been scammed in different ways, but just scammed and were so afraid to bring it out. And I was like, you know what? I'm mad about what happened to me now. I'm not sad. I'm not scared. I'm not ashamed. I'm upset that it happened, and it's still happening to so many people. And I turned it into my mission. And I just came up with the women behind the smile, and we need to stand up in our own power, and we need to get the word out to. So if I could help one person prevent being scammed like I was, or in any way, that's my goal now, is to make women, especially our age, that typically if you're divorced or widowed, you're at extraordinary odds of being taken advantage of. And I just don't want that to happen to anybody else. And unfortunately, the internet scam is worldwide, and it's like a big spider web. It's so involved, and it's very difficult for them to stop. But I think if people were more aware of how it happens and that it can happen to anybody, well-educated or non-educated, it will happen to anybody because we are nurturing people and we want to help. And that's where I got duped. I trust people, and I just wanted to help his family.
But every single one of these scams, Debbie, that I've heard about or, read about or seen, first of all, the people are overseas. Number two, women have had these relationships for 2 years, just like you. They've sent money and they've never met the person for all kinds of reasons. And I think that's a message that people need to know, is that if you are going to have somebody involved in online dating, you need to meet them in person. You need to get to a place where you both are. If you're going to, even if one's in California, one's in Florida, and you meet in Kansas, that you meet. And it is amazing that people can be in a relationship online for 2 years. And you're not the only one, Debbie. There's just hundreds that get and feel that they're in love and they've never even met. So what would you say you would want other women to know about online dating?
Just what you said. Be careful. Be careful about what you put out about yourself. I definitely would not put that I was a widow again or that I own a business, because those are two big flashers. They're looking for someone that might have access to some money, and they want someone whose heart has been broken that's looking for love. Now, I wasn't looking for love. I look at this. My husband today had a $1 million divorce. Well, I figured that this was my $1 million therapy. That's the only way I can really justify it to myself now, because for 2 years I poured out my heart to Eric. I told him everything that had happened to me before Lou died, that was sad or heart-wrenching or whatever. I could just spill the beans. I just put it out there, and it was just so therapeutic for me to be able to talk to someone and to get things out.
But just think how much less expensive it would have been if you went to a therapist, right?
Well, and if I had just listened to my sons, my older boys actually got very upset at me because when I finally ended up telling them, it was after I had revealed what had happened, and I think they felt betrayed that I didn't listen to them. And at one point, I remember my oldest son was just like, Mom, don't you dare give this guy any money, and don't do this and don't do that. And I looked at him, and I'm like, you know what? I'm the adult here. I can do what I want. I said, it's not affecting you boys, and this makes me happy. Well, silly me. And, I don't know if that would prevent me from doing it again, because part of me just feels like this was going to happen to somebody, and I'm a very, godly person, and I just feel that maybe this happened to me because God knows I can deal with it and that I can get the word out. Maybe that's Pollyanna. I don't know.
Make sure we get to some of the other things because we only have like less than 5 minutes left. So,
okay,
what is your passion now?
My passion now is to get women to stand up, to get women to speak up, and to tell what's happening in their lives, and to find someone that's trusted that they can talk to not hide anymore, to hide behind stories. Because I feel like Jane Jetson, like when I was a kid, I used to watch the Jetsons, and she would put on that mask, and she would be able to talk to family, but she'd have her curlers on in the background, where we're hiding behind a smile, and everything's fine. We're all just fine. But inside, we're not. We're hiding something that happened to us, and I just feel it's very empowering to get that story out, to help another woman, to help another man, to help someone get through their lives. I mean, I've been through a husband dying at 50 years old. I've been through miscarriages. I've been through infidelity. I've been through things in my life that I've hidden because I didn't feel like I was perfect by telling. And for some reason, we all think we need to look perfect to other people. And we don't. And my passion is to speak to women, to get them to just open up, because they'll be so much stronger if they can put the past behind them and move forward. That's my goal, is to get us to be able to move forward as strong, articulate, divine women.
So how do you think that you can live what we call regret-free after being taken advantage of so completely?
I am a little more careful about who I trust. I still get out there. I still do as much for others as I can. I don't give people money anymore. Well, I have, but not in the amounts that I did before. I'm just very cautious, much more cautious now, and I think I listen to my gut a little bit better, and I definitely listen to my kids and my parents.
So if people wanted to get in touch with you, how would they do that, Debbie?
Well, my website is thewomanbehindthesmile.com. They can email me at Debby, it's Debby, at thewomanbehindthesmile. I actually came up with 7 steps to stand in your power, and that's a free download at thewomanbehindthesmile.com. And I would love to hear people. I would love to hear their stories. We're going to try to put a book out with people's stories, because I just feel it's so liberating to get the story out.
Okay, so
I would love people to call me.
Folks, if you've been through something like this, or you really want to talk to somebody who's been there and done that, you need to talk to Debbie. So reach her at Debbie, that's Debby, at thewomanbehindthesmile.com. Lots of stories there, lots of experience there. Debbie, thanks so much for sharing with us today and being a guest with us. And I sure wish you only the best in your future and with your new husband.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate getting the opportunity to speak with you and getting this word out. I hope other women will heed the message before something happens to them.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Gail.